What's good? We back. We talking about Tony Bellew, David Haye rematch. I think it's the best main event fight of the weekend. You also got Golovkin and Monterosian. We spoke in that fight. It's the last time I'll probably be speaking on that fight unless something significant happen, like somebody missed weight or some BS happened. I won't be covering that card. I gave you a prediction. First video of the day. Really don't care for the fight. Also, you got a young kid, Ryan Garcia. We'll talk about his fight a little bit later in the week. But Bellew, David Haye, the rematch was a shocker, the first one. But, yeah, appreciate everybody for rocking out with us. Please smash that like button and hit the subscribe button. I rarely ask for people to subscribe, but it kind of worked, though. You know, some people say, smash that subscribe button, and I smash it. You know, I don't give a fuck. Just how it be, though. You know, I'm like, all right, let me smash it for this dude. So I definitely appreciate you guys subscribing and watching. But, yeah, it's the best fight of the weekend for fighting. I'm going to tune in on May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. It actually falls on Saturday this year. And, you know, it's basically, this fight is hinged on David Haye's health. You know, David Haye has never been a full-time boxer, in my opinion. He's never been entrenched, especially at the heavyweight division. I always thought he's like James DeGill. They look like a superstar lifestyle outside the ring. I never thought that he was 100%, 1000%, a billion percent dedicated to boxing, at least in a long time. Tony Bellew was an overachiever. I mean, he obviously got knocked out by Adonis Stevenson at light heavyweight, won the cruiserweight belt, and shocked David Haye. You know, and a lot of people minds, there was no way, no how that he was gonna beat David Haye. David Haye was, you know, known as explosive puncher, athletic, gifted boxer. Didn't really live up to the bill at heavyweight, but he was explosive cruiserweight and one of the better cruiserweights in recent memory. But Tony Bellew showed a lot of grit, determination. I know people looking at his body physique in the first fight, saying he was fighting blobby, but guess what? You know, he was beating the shit out of David Haye. And I really do believe David Haye didn't take that fight seriously. And if you look at physiques, and I'm gonna use this as an example, you know, people say, "Oh, this guy look better than that guy coming to the ring." Body physiques mean nothing in boxing. As long as you make that weight and you train right and you train hard and you in good shape for whatever you doing in boxing, you gonna win that fight. Tony Bellew didn't look like shit into a lot of people's opinion, you know. And David Haye looked like a Greek god or some shit like that. And David Haye obviously gassed out, and I think that was part of him injuring. A lot of injuries occur in sports, especially with a lot of high intensity and intervals up and down. A lot of injuries occur when fatigue kicks in, when you're in the best shape. And you see that in American football. You know, a lot of them guys go out there and camp, you know, fat, slobby, you know, out of shape. And they get out there and they start doing some conditioning, and they start tearing and breaking shit and spraining shit because they not in good conditioning coming into the fight. David Haye was just in okay conditioning, you know. That's his body physique. That's his natural, you know, body physique with all the muscle and looking lean. But obviously Tony Bellew was in a better shape. Tony Bellew was mentally tougher. David Haye thought he was going to go in there and walk Tony Bellew down and just knock him out. He tried to do what Adonis Stevenson did, and it didn't work. Tony Bellew showed a lot of resiliency. He weathered the storm early, and he started putting it on David Haye. And David Haye had no answer because he was tired, you know. He didn't come in the best shape. And for the rematch, I think that's the $1 million question. You know, will David Haye come in top shape, you know? And does he still have it after the injury? And, in the Vladimir Klitschko fight, man, he sold us all a hope and a dream. And we bought it, and he came in there and he laid an egg. You know, he didn't do a goddamn thing. He had the two pictures holding the Klitschko head, severed, decapitated off the body. I'm talking tough. He sold himself. He sold himself for that fight. He sold himself for a check and then come in there and deliver. They should have revoked his check. That was some Lomachenko type shit he did. He didn't quit, but he never really even tried in that fight, man. Anybody with a background that's willing to go in the ring and lay down after talking all that shit, their character is suspect. You know, David Haye, his character is suspect because in the first Tony Bellew fight, he gassed out. You know what I'm saying? And, I hopefully Tony Bellew do it again. I like Tony Bellew. He one of the real trio boxing dudes that talk that real shit, especially when it comes to PEDs. And I think Tony Bellew is going to be the one that comes in better condition, better mentally. I think he's going to take it more serious than David Haye. David Haye could do all the training he want. You know, I think David Haye won't be up to par again. I think I won't say it was the best David Haye that we seen last time versus Tony Bellew, but I believe, I don't think he can really get any better, you know, from that fight. He could train hard. Like I said, he coming from an injury. I believe he re-aggravated the injury and he got pushed back a little bit more. I'm not sure. But it's going on at the O2 Arena, London, I believe. And Yeah, I mean, if David Haye comes in shape and he can turn back the clock, but coming off of the Achilles injury and the way he looked in the first fight, I'm not sure that he even got the dog in him no more. And I think it was Achilles injury, right? I think the mental hurdle over that injury, that's a tough injury to come back from, man. It's a real tough injury. I'm gonna go with the short thing. I'm gonna go with Tony Bellew, late stoppage again. I'm gonna go with the same result. I think Tony Bellew is gonna double down, double back, beat David Haye. I didn't give him a chance the first fight. Maybe David Haye might turn back the clock, but I think Tony Bellew tasted his best, and I think David Haye is still gonna be a front runner, come out fast. I think Bellew is gonna know what to do, take his time, pace himself a little bit more. I still think David Haye is either gonna get injured in this fight, throw the kitchen sink, and get tired in this fight, or I think Bellew might just take it to him and whoop his hindsight and send him back home. Would I be surprised if David Haye won this fight? Yeah, a little bit. I just expect Tony Bellew to be a class of this fight, and I think he's gonna go back to cruiserweight after this fight. But yeah, David Haye, I seen so many times where he duped me, man. The Vladimir Klitschko fight, the last Tony Bellew fight. I know a lot of us American fans were like, there was no way David Haye was gonna win that fight. I mean, Tony Bellew was gonna win that fight, and he did. I'm going with Tony Bellew again. I like the guy, and I like the resiliency. I like the hard work. And I like the intangibles more than I like David Haye, non-existent intangibles. And I'm going, Tony Bellew, 10th round knockout, possibly earlier. I think the dude got a lot of resilience, a lot of balls. I'm a big Tony Bellew fan from America. Shout out to the LDBC. We gone.